back. And we're back.
Yeah, back.
And
back.
glad. I'm so glad finally I get to do a personality profile with you.
Yes.
You're a lawyer, right? You went
Yes.
to law school and all?
Yes, law school. Faculty of Law, University of Ghana, School of Law, Ghana Law School, and then a master's at the University of Pretoria, South Africa. Great. And the University of Western Cape. Near Cape Town, Western Cape in South Africa. Yeah.
How did you get it to be so involved with gender issues? Was it something you've always loved, or something that triggered that whole drive? Yeah,
well, what actually triggered it from my childhood was sometimes the unequal treatment. I'll be grinding pepper. My mom and my grandma will be cooking, and then they'll ask me to grind pepper. And then my brothers will be playing football. And then my mother will say, yeah, when you get married, you have to learn, you have to know how to cook, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And so I didn't think that, I would argue with her.
How old were you then?
Must have been maybe 7, 8, 9. Because I was always reading. And my same brothers would come and call me. And then I have to go upstairs and peel cassava and grind pepper and tomato. And the grinding stone. Yeah. And I'll grind and they'll sieve it and get me to grind again and all that. From there, I really resented this unequal treatment. So I suppose I picked it up from there. And then once I read law, I started doing pro bono, like volunteering at the FIDA Human Rights Clinic. And then I realized, there's so many issues. So I started reading. I've never had any training, any gender training. I've just read and read and just self-taught gender. So that was where the interest really came. But I think it came from that childhood experience. And so I was like, no, both boys and girls should be given equal opportunity. So if I was grinding the pepper, they should also grind. Like, I shouldn't be the one grinding all the time and then going to fetch water. Like,
so
and all
did that change how you did your upbringing? Oh,
yes. My son, I have one girl, Senna, and then 3 boys, Kekeli, Edem, and Doji. And they have to, like, when I come from the market, I'll go to markets with them sometimes. And then they would have to peel the kontomire, pound the palm and all that. So yeah, so Edem can really cook. Like they cannot, but Edem really cooks. I think out of the 4, then Edem really is a very good cook. Yes, and at least they can cook some food. And but now they argue with me and mommy this, mommy that, and So yeah. Yeah.
So how much of this is a big problem in society? Well, in terms of this gender issue, yes. Are we making great progress now, or are we still? Do you still have reason to be fighting?
Oh yes. I realized that it's just we can't stop talking, we can't stop debating. We've still got to interrogate, we've still got to challenge the status quo. It's improved, but I'm sure you've been reading about the Pepperdam debates and all that.
Just
so
took it
flipping the scripts, like the Pepperdam are flipping the script. So you realize that we still got to do some work. It's improved, but we just still got to be at it. Yeah, we still got to be at it. It has improved. Now we are advocating for paternity leave, and in addition to maternity leave. So I think that's a step in the right direction.
But how far is that going? Can you see the time in Ghana where the man is also off because I'm taking paternity?
Yeah, I think yes. Government is considering a maternity protection bill, and then there's a lobby for paternity leave, and I'm hoping the lobby will be strong, and at least we get about 1 month paternity leave, and that would help. The first 3-4 years very critical in terms of the child's development and everything.
Is it comforting though to know that sometimes it's not like the men are really against or are vowed not to allow things for women, but it's just part of their upbringing. They don't see. No,
sometimes it's very irritating and annoying, but then you understand and appreciate the context. Like when it's happened to you several times, then you know that it's not their fault, like you said, it's the upbringing. So then you find a way of addressing it. But at other times, you have to make a point.
Yeah.
You have to make a point, and you have to assert yourself and let the person realize that. Because some would deliberately try to put you down, and then you have to stand your ground and insist that no, You know, I'm equally,
Yeah.
I'm equally capable and competent of doing this. And you just,
Yeah.
and once you do that, they'll back off.
Okay.
Yeah, they back
Okay.
off.
And I think it was out of this that Sugar Them sprang out.
Yeah, sugar them and
No, pepper them. Pepper
yeah.
them
Pepper.
sprang out
Yeah.
to resist this.
Yes.
And
yes,
then
yes.
Sugar Them also came
Yeah,
up to.
Sugar Them also came
What
up.
was your position? Were you watching the two, and
Yes, I was
what were you
watching
thinking between Sugar Them and Pepper?
You know, Kina Likimani, one of our social, she made a comment once on a show, like, you know, but really, is there a difference? Like, typically, but when you go to the village level, you realize that they appreciate the gender roles. And sometimes you have the men actually playing that role of nurturing the children and the family within the family setting. So I thought Kina made a very good point with that. And we need to debate. You know, we need to create that discussion and that swell and that debate. Yeah. But sometimes we pepper them also.
So
other times we pepper them. And we pamper.
You pamper. Sometimes, sometimes you pamper, sometimes you sugar.
Yeah.
So that's life. Should
We
be.
have fire, we have water. We have fire, we have water. Yeah. And they all have their roles to play. Yeah.
Are you interested? Will you be? Did you see yourself getting into politics? Did you see your nomination now as okay?
Yes.
Now I have gotten into politics.
Yes. As time went on, I became very interested. I really believed in the social democratic principles, and I reflected deeply on my future, and I realized that I was at the right place and that I could serve in a political office. Yes, and NDC was very welcoming. So yeah, I decided that, I'm going to go political. Yeah.
So have you decided now? Are you into politics now?
Yes, I'm into politics.
You are?
Full force. Yeah. Yes.
I don't know whether this is true or not true, but somehow I heard that your name had come up for vice president.
No.
No.
That's
When you said yes, I was like, oh, okay, maybe.
Well, not that I know of. Yes.
Yeah.
You heard?
I heard.
Oh wow.
I heard. Actually, there was a poll going on. I think you know, and there were some ladies on the list, and your name was included.
Oh, all right. Okay. I
like if JM is to pick a vice, who would? And there was a whole list of names, and your name was in there.
Oh, okay, interesting. And I didn't see it.
You didn't see it.
No,
you haven't heard anything.
No, I haven't.
Would you?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Yes, I'll serve in any capacity. Yes, I'll serve in any capacity. What I'm considering now is a parliamentary candidate for the NDC for the Adenta seat. So I've been doing a lot of consultation. I've been meeting members at the constituency. I've been talking to stakeholders to see whether I stand a chance. So that's what I'm doing now.
So you're doing your, is it called recce?
Yeah, I'm doing my recce. Yeah, I'm doing my recce.
And so far?
One. Yeah, so far so good. I mean, like positive. A few comments, but generally positive. Generally positive. Very interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Who's there now? That's
Guabing. Yes, Guabing for NPP.
Okay.
But it's a swing seat, so yeah, it's a swing seat. Very interesting seat. Yeah, very interesting seat.
What do you think the chances are? I'm sure you are hoping that NDC will come back to power, but your personal, what do you think your chances are?
If we work hard, I think the grounds are fertile. The NDC, we come together, we work as a team, focus, we have our strategy. It's doable, very doable. Yeah. If we work hard, we need to work hard, we need to be strategic and optimize, like take advantage of the opportunities and really work hard. We will make it. We will make it, we'll make it. What do you think?
I really can't tell you what I think, but guess what? BK is here today and is going to share with us some information, and that's exactly what I think.
Great.
But anyway, looking back at what you did with the gender, I remember you were very, very excited about the Gambaga witch camp.
Yes.
Something happened. Yeah.
Yes. That was really exciting. We have about 6 or more witch camps in the northern part of Ghana, where women who are accused of being witches, they have to flee. They have to flee from their communities and then go and seek refuge in these camps. And let me tell you one interesting thing that happened. As a cabinet minister, I went up to Upper West, and then I had to pay a courtesy call on one of the chiefs. And when I got there, the journalist told me that a woman in that community had been accused of being a witch. And she and her household had been asked to leave, like asked to leave the community. And so I should raise it with the chief. And I had to be very diplomatic. And it was interesting because I'm like, this is when I really wished I was a human rights lawyer, because I'll just have gone and just said whatever. But now as a cabinet minister, I had to really be, you know, I had to be
politically correct.
Politically correct. So, and the journalists were waiting, like they had their cameras and they were waiting. Nanoye, tell him, ask him the question, you know. And how could I ask him the question, like, with the cameras? So I found a way, and then, like, everybody left, and I engaged with him, and he understood the situation. We called the Commission on Human Rights officer and the police, and I explained to him that, well, this was not very good and all that. So the situation was addressed. And so with the Ghani, the witch camp, there were 55 women inmates. And it was really very interesting. Action Aid, and there's a whole coalition of civil society groups that work to support the witch camps. And also the former First Lady, Her Excellency Lordina Mahama, helped them a lot, especially Gambaga. And then we also had to engage with the owner of the witch camp, and we had to provide alternate livelihood for her. We gave her those vehicles for transportation, then I think a corn mill. And for me, the most poignant, the most striking moment I'll never forget, when this owner of the witch camp said, "Oh, so they're leaving me. Who am I going to chat with?" Yeah, she was like, "Who am I going to chat with?" She. Who am I going to chat with? Who is going to keep me company? And that really touched me, that they had become family.
Wow.
And a lot of the chiefs came for the ceremony, and there was just something, you know, there was just something, I can't describe it, you know. There was just a feeling that day, that morning. BBC, several media houses, you know, and some of the radio stations and TVs covered it. Peace FM. When they were about to start, they said they'll have to kill a cockerel. And then based on how the cockerel lies, when they kill the cockerel, it will determine whether this thing was going on or not. I mean, KSM, you can imagine, my anxiety levels shot through the roof. I'm like, oh dear, if this cockerel is slaughtered, it doesn't lie the way they want it to lie, then we're in deep trouble.
So it means then no work done, practically.
Yeah, no work done. But fortunately, the cockerel was slaughtered and it lay the way. So now I was just thinking, am I going to get police to cover? And then, like, what position is this cockerel supposed to lie? You know, should I get police to cover it so that it lies the way? But fortunately, as fate would have it, the cockerel lay the way.
Yeah. So what they put you all through that? They would have just said, okay, let's go through to the cockerel.
Yeah.
But they have to go through all of that, and then really,
because it's the first time in Africa any witch camp has ever been closed. And I used to keep up with the women, find out how they are and everything. And I'm really grateful to the traditional leaders in the northern region, the then regional minister, Action Aid, and all the civil society groups for all the support. Yeah, and I'd love to go and visit the woman at the, you know, at the witch camp to see how she's faring.
So she was quite upset that she was going to be lonely. She didn't have any company.
She didn't have company because all the women were leaving.
Wow.
And I mean, old women. I mean, they reminded me of my grandma, because I really loved my grandmother, Mami Adjoa Mansa, and they just reminded me of my grandmother. And I was really happy, you know, that I was able to do something. I mean, for them, that at least till they die, they would be back in their homes. I mean, that was really one of the high points of my time as a minister.
Let's talk quickly before I dispatch you. Takrady girls, and then the CID boss, and the whole The whole scenario.
Yeah,
How
very,
do
very
you
unfortunate. KSM, Takrady girls, very unfortunate. I do not believe that the government has handled the case properly. First, in terms of the approach, in terms of the way it was handled from the beginning, I don't think it was handled with the urgency. There should have been pictures out there, notices out there. We should have had regular, timely information, weekly briefings, because it took the nation by storm. So we should have had weekly briefings. If you recall, is it Magdalene, or this little young girl, British girl who got lost in Italy when she was on holiday with her parents? Every week there was a briefing. She was not found, but at least the public knew exactly what the police and the security agencies in the United Kingdom were doing. So I believe that the way it's being handled is not very good. And I'm hoping that there's something better, because we still are not hearing anything. It's been like 3 weeks and we haven't had any briefing on the status of investigation, where are we, what has happened, etc. We still haven't heard anything. So that's a minus for NPP government, actually. It's a minus.
Yeah. I get you. You did a Mother's Day cookout?
Yes. Great. I was thinking, what do I do for Mother's Day? And I had spent some time with the orphans, and I know you also went to Osu Children's Home. Thank you very much to mentor them, to talk to them about their professions. So in line with that, I decided to spend Mother's Day with the inmates of Frafraha, the foster care home, and it was really great. We prepared some pancakes for our mothers, and had a meal, had lunch together, sang and played Ludo. I haven't played Ludo in a long while.
Six
Ludo. And then we played snakes. Did you play snakes and
ladders? Yeah.
So we played snakes and ladders and Ludo. So we spent the afternoon together, got to know them, we chatted, and we cooked. They're very good cooks.
Fantastic.
I have 4 chefs.
Fantastic.
So that's really nice.
Yeah.
To spend Mother's Day.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
You still go by Lithur?
Yes.
Still?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
No, Lithur. It was so good hanging out with you, man.
Thank you.
Looks like you're ready to be back in politics actively.
Actively.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Actively, yes.
Okay.
To serve this nation, to serve the people of Adenta. I think it's very important, yes, to serve him. Yeah.
To serve?
Yes, to serve.
Put your hands together one more time. Great hanging out, great catching up with you. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you
and,
very much.
Come back soon.
I'll come back very soon, sooner than you thought.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you
and
too.
I love the shake.
Sure. It goes like this.
Yeah.
There. Back. Stick around. We'll be right back.
The KSM Show.